Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheridan Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. It is a cold, bitterly cold day, in my opinion, here in the mountains of western North Carolina. Son and I just got back. We delivered 4 half cows, plus a couple other big bulk orders to customers earlier today, and we've got a little bit of work that we need to do. In a couple of days, we've got some cows that are going to the butcher. So I've got to get them a little bit closer to the field where the corral is, which is down here behind me. Got to get them a little bit closer, but the problem is we're moving them onto an area that the grass is not the best in the world, and we've got temperatures coming in tonight in the mid to upper 20s, so we're going to have a problem with water freezing. I got a new product, and we'll show you what we're going to try. We're going to try this to see if this solves our water freezing up problem. And that siphon that I've been using, y'all have seen me use that siphon, they keep nudging that thing out, and we lose the siphon, and so it's not working. We need a little better solution. So hang it with me for a little bit. We're going to get some hay. We're going to put up a little bit of fence. We're going to move a little bit of water. And we're going to move the cows to a new spot. Getting a couple of them ready to go to the butcher. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get us a new drinker set up here. Now, y'all know we usually use those Plasson valves and plug it the way that we've got this one up here, just plugged into a straight garden hose. But we're going to do something a little different today because I did go by some of these Freeze Mizers, and we're going to try it and see if it works. I don't know if it will or not. So what I've got here is I have a this is a tank top drinker with a float in it. Works like all the others do. Water runs out when it fills up, pushes the gate up, closes the valve, and that's the end of it. And our garden hose goes in here, and then we just attach it to the top of the tank with these little set screws. We'll do that here in a little bit. But first, what we've got to do, so I've got a Y. This is just a Y gate valve that we'll attach our garden hose to. That's coming out of the yard hydrant. So we're going to put that. I'll tell you what. Let's do. That's got a washer. Let's put us a little Teflon tape around that. Put a little Teflon tape around this just to be kind of nice and proper, and see if that won't just don't help us set ourselves up for success. That's what we're going to do here. So do it like this. Put a couple 3 wraps on there, and then get it started right. Right. There we go. Okay. Right. So that hooks us into our float valve. Now we're going to put our Freeze Mizer on here. The way this thing is supposed to work is whenever the temperature approaches 37 degrees, the Freeze Mizer will start to drip and hold the water open so that the water continues to move, and with moving water, you have less chance to freeze. Now, I have seen guys online say that they've had water that didn't freeze down to 5 degrees below zero. That seems like a pretty bold claim to me, but you know, they show pictures, and it sure does look like it. So I put that tape on there backwards, but we got it on there anyway. All right, so there's our Freeze Mizer. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll hook our garden hose up here, make sure that both of these are open. Both those are open. Now, the way this should work is, water will come in here, we'll fill our tank. Once our tank gets full, it will close the water off. If we get to a freezing state, then the Freeze Mizer should open up and continue to flow water. Now we might need to fix that thing. We may do it to adjust on the location, but we can do all that here in a little bit. But that's going to be our setup. We got us a washer in there, so we should be good. All right, so this is our water. Next thing we got to do, we got to do a little bit of other work to get the cows ready to move. So we're going to go out and get the tractor, and I'm going to put a roll of hay in this field that they're going to. I don't know that they need it, but because there's some grass up there. But I'm going to put a roll of hay out just to make sure that they've got plenty to eat. They're only going to be in here for 24 hours. It's fine. We'll put a roll of hay out. We'll let them have it. Whatever's left laying will just be carbon going back in the soil. And we may actually come back through this field in a couple more weeks. But today what we got to do is get them in this field so we can move them to the next field, because we got 2 going out on Monday. So let's go get the tractor. We'll put a roll of hay out. Broke one of my rules. I typically will take the string off before I get to the field. Not doing that today. Forgot. And number 2, they're not going to be up here bothering me while I'm trying to take it off. It shouldn't be a big deal. Like I was saying, I usually will take the strings off down at the barn before I get to the field. And the main reason I do that is when you get up here, or you get out to the cows and you are trying to undo your hay, and if you put it over in with them, they will absolutely run over you, and they'll hurt you if you're not careful, because you're trying to unstring hay. So I usually will do this at the barn before I bring it out, but they're not up here where I'm at. I'm going to bring them into this area in a minute. So I can do it here right now. And I just forgot. As I was pulling out, I was so worried about, honestly, I was worried about y'all, worried about getting my camera stuff going. I was focused more on that than I was the task at hand, so. Get these strings off, and I'm just going to drop this right here. What we'll do is we'll unroll this out on this field. We'll roll it back down towards the house, downhill. It's easier to roll downhill than it is uphill. But we'll unroll it, and then when they come in, there's grass in here. It's not tipped back out, but I mean, there's still some green grass in here. And y'all, it's the 6th day of December. This is the latest. This is the latest I remember ever putting the first roll of hay out for the cows. There's green grass up in here behind y'all, but I thought this would be nice for them. It'll give them something to do. It'll be, you know, a little treat for them. And I'm putting it here kind of close to the house so I can see them, because I'll be honest with you, I like looking at them. I like having them around. I like seeing them. Now there's two ways I could do this. I could either just leave it sitting like it is and let them come up and do their thing and tear it apart, and they would. Or we can unroll it, which is what I'm going to do. And the reason I'm going to unroll it is I'm going to unroll it down the hill here, and I'm going to unroll it because I think they'll probably use a little bit more of it. And whatever they don't use will be left laying on the ground and will serve as carbon to continue to feed the soil. Now, I don't use hay rings, and the reason I don't use hay rings is I could. A lot of folks will use hay rings because they say there's less waste, and I, to a point, would certainly agree with that. The problem I have with hay rings is that people get lazy about them. They'll put them in one spot and they'll just leave them there, and then you get so much compaction and so much manure buildup around the outside edge of those hay rings that you lose any benefit of having the hay out there. We could bale graze this, which would be basically the same principle, but we would not get as much use out of it. So the cows would just come up and they would just eat it right here where it stands. And that would create a biological hot spot where this roll of hay is sitting, which would be fine. I mean, that would be fine, but I just, right here where I'm at, I don't need that. That's a good thing to do if you've got an area of ground that's don't have much biology to it and it's kind of poor, and it's not doing very well. So we're going to unroll this, which I think will work out a little bit better for what we're doing today. Got to figure out which way this thing rolls. Okay, that tells me right there. I know what I'm doing now. Before I unroll this, time for a little provocateur. Every year I do a video talking about why I don't make my own hay. And I do that for two reasons. Number one, to share with folks that there is an alternative. If you want to raise these animals, you don't have to make hay to be able to feed them. You can buy hay, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the second reason I do it is to stir people up. It's just honest. It is what it is. But people always, every year, grumble and fuss and talk bad about, denigrate my choice of hay and what I buy. Oh, that's awful looking hay. Oh, that bale's not wrapped too tight. Oh, that's sorry. That's terrible hay. Whatever y'all decide you want to say about it. So this hay right here is a roll of hay that I bought not this past summer, summer before. This is 18-month-old hay. This is hay that sat down in the sawmill barn for over a year. So I peeled the top layer back on this. Y'all, I wish we had smell-o-vision, because this right here, it is it's the right color, and it smells just as fresh as the day that we brought it up here. Right there's a little twig, not much. But I mean, this is not weedy hay. It looks good, it smells good. On the outside of it, yeah, it's brown where it's dried out. But down inside that layer, that top layer on your rolls acts like a thatched roof. And it will protect it. It will protect the contents from water damage, drying out too much, all those things that you don't want it to do. It acts like a thatched roof. So there's nothing wrong with my hay. And yeah, I do talk about it to kind of stir people up a little bit, but we buy hay because I don't think it's for me, it's not cost effective to go buy a bunch of equipment. And it's also not cost effective for me to set aside hay ground out here that I can run cattle on to make hay off of. Well, let's unroll this thing. Enough about that. This is going to peel off that away. So we're going to flip it up like so. And we're going to unroll. Now, another thing, before y'all come at me, well, I'm on a roll today. Before y'all come at me with, you need to buy you one of them Greg Judy bale unrollers. They're nice. Greg's got a good product. They're expensive. I can unroll a whole lot of rolls of hay for what it would cost me to buy one of those bale unrollers, that's for sure. No offense to Greg, it's just not something I feel like I need. But now granted, if I was unrolling, you know, more than a roll a day, probably would be a reasonable investment to make just from a time, saving on your time and a little bit of labor. But I don't mind doing this. It's a little frustrating. See, y'all talk about that hay ain't rolled too tight. Well, it don't just fall off when you start unrolling it, that's for sure. Okay, there's our hay unrolled. Started here, then it goes on down the hill there for a good ways. So spread out, that'll give them a chance to spread out. Phew, out of breath. Gives them a chance to spread out. Everybody has plenty of room to eat, and spreads their manure, all those good things. So let's go get a little fence. Got to put up a back line, and then we'll turn them in and we'll get water. Yeah, I'll ask y'all a question real quick. I posted this over on I think it was on our business Facebook page the other day. What do you call this thing on my head? I got into a pretty spirited discussion with my buddy Andy over at True Grit. He calls it a snoogan. Now, I've never even heard of that. Don't even know what that is. We call it a boggin or a toboggan. But what do y'all call it where you're from? Is it a knit cap, a beanie, a toboggan, a snoogan? What do you call it? Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what this thing is on my head. So we've just got a little old short we just got a little old short line we got to pull. So I don't need very many of these, but I always take more than I need, because you just never know. So we'll get us a couple of good handfuls. Let me show y'all something else while we're down here at the sawmill barn we worked on the other day. So a handful of videos back, we were down here working in what we call the sawmill barn. And what we were doing over here in this corner where the mill is pointed now was where we had a bunch of hay. And this area over here had a pretty big dip in it, and the big piece of plastic, it was just a mess. So we spent the day moving hay up there so we could clean up. So we got all that done. The other day off camera, we should have videoed it, but we just got in a hurry and got to working. Me and Sandra came out here and she helped me. She done a lot of the digging work. We pushed a bunch of dirt down here in this corner to kind of excuse me, to kind of level this thing up. And then all of this corner over here, got all the sawdust out, got it cleaned up. There's a bunch of old lumber, just trash. Got rid of all that. The reason I done this, and I got this idea from my friend Eric Champion down at the Bearded Lumber. He said, fix that thing, set your mill up so you can work off both sides of it. Well, that made sense. and the way this thing sat over here, I can only work off of this front side because I was up against the wall. Now what we can do, we can come in at a little bit of an angle with our logs and bring them in here and set them down on the log lift. We can do all the sawing that we need to do. And now I can get back here on this back side. We can set us some pallets up over here or some dunnage, however we want to do it. And we can off bear that lumber to here, come in with the tractor, pick it up, and then move it. Instead of a lot of this lifting and carrying and stuff that we were having to do before. The only other thing that I want to do right now, a couple things I want to do, but the main thing I want to do right now, I want to find me, Nathan uses them, some of those roller tables. I know y'all have seen them. They come usually in 5 or 10 foot sections. There's my other pair of glasses. So that we can just pull a board off, roll it over, and then set it down onto the pallet so we don't have to pick it up and carry it. That just gets old after a while. But got the sawmill building set up. I've got a bunch of stuff to cut. I've actually got a couple of orders for some folks. They want me to do a few things, and then we've got a lot more to cut on this timber frame building. So videos coming on that. But I thought I'd show y'all. We finally got this place kind of cleaned up, looking neat, and hopefully a little bit more, what do you call it, efficient, ergonomic. Hopefully a little bit more ergonomic in the way that we're moving stuff around. I have an early adopter. He's already over. They're down there bellering. They're mad. They're ready to come across. There it is. They went right to the hay. Everybody's there. Y'all look at that sunset back there. Isn't that pretty? All right, y'all. We're running out of daylight. I don't particularly care for this time of year. I don't mind the temperatures, because I can work enough and dress enough to stay warm. But it's, what time is it? It's 25 minutes after 5. And it's about dark outside. And I've still got to get water. Need to go in and do it, you know, put this video together. Which I can do that inside, that's fine. But I just don't like these short days. You just run out of time. Okay, we've got to mount our float on the back of our tank like this right here. That thing gonna fit down on there. Oh man. This is not a Rubbermaid tub, and it's a Rubbermaid float valve. So let's see if we may have to get some longer bolts to go in it. Got that right in my way. And then that's right in my way. I swear, everything's in the way. We'll guess at it. There we go. Man, talk about close. Can't get the washer on it for sure. Can we get that other one on there? And then if I do, I don't know how I'm going to get the screwdriver down there on it. This is how things work around here at Hooptyville Farms. We just kind of cobble it together. Okay, so I got it on. This is a Rubbermaid brand float, and this is not a Rubbermaid brand tub. So it doesn't fit down on there exactly right, but it's on there, so it'll stay. Y'all, it's dark outside, so I'm not going to be able to take you along for this part. What we'll do is we will hook our water up right here. We've got both of our gates open, so we should get flow through the valve till we fill up the tank. This doesn't matter. I'll leave this laying out on the ground. It will not backflow through that. So we'll drain, or the float will work. We'll fill the tub up with water overnight. Supposed to get down to 27 tonight. Overnight, if we get down to 37 degrees, this thing will open up and will start to flow, and it will keep the water running. Keep the water running through the hose so that we don't freeze up tonight. So we'll see. Okay, y'all, we'll see how this is going to show up. So we got our water line coming into our float valve, which is running. The Freeze Mizer is not. It shouldn't be. It's not cold enough yet. And we've got water flowing. Now, see if I can do this. When this valve raises up and it closes off, water will stop flowing. We don't have any water coming out there. Looks like our connectors are all good. So I think we're good to go here. 27 degrees tonight, so won't make it on this video, but maybe in the next one I will come out and show y'all what this looks like when we get below freezing. But this should keep our water flowing tonight. We won't have to pull a siphon, don't have to worry about turning our water off, and we should keep plenty of water for these cows tonight. We'll see. All right, y'all, there it is. Got water on them cows, and hopefully this will prevent our water from freezing up tonight. So these are the Freeze Mizer outdoor faucet freeze protectors. I'll leave a link for these in the description down below. Absolutely not sponsored. I bought these in my own money. Bought them at Tractor Supply in the next town over. They didn't have my local Tractor Supply. But so we got on that water trough. Good for homes, farm and ranch, water wells, RVs, and more. And this thing, it's some kind of patented technology. I don't know anything about it. Don't pretend to know anything about it. That causes, whenever the temperature reaches a certain point, it causes that valve in that Freeze Mizer piece to open up, let water flow, and continuous flowing water like that is not going to freeze. Like I said a while ago, I've seen guys posting videos on these things where they had -5 degrees. The guy was like, I think Minnesota, -5 degrees, and his water hadn't froze. He was still flowing. That's one of the things, that's probably one of the things that Sandra worries about the most, is water freezing up and busting lines and plumbing repairs and having to do that type of work. We don't want to do that. And I'll just tell y'all, if you have to do plumbing repairs in water, in mud, this time of year, that is some of the most miserable work that you can do. It's just, I got a little wet out there a while ago. My hands are, I don't even feel my hands. Got a little wet hooking that thing up off camera. It's just miserable work. It's just a horrible, horrible thing to have to do, and I despise it. So if we can keep water flowing and not have repairs and not have to go out and unhook water in the evenings and then go back and hook it up the next morning, that's going to be a game changer. And another problem that we run into, even if we unhook water at night, sometimes there's water still sitting in those hoses. So you got to hook it up in the morning and it's not going to flow because there's ice has frozen inside that hose. And so water's not going to flow through until it warms up during the day and water starts to flow. Last year, we had about 4 or 5 days that it didn't get above 20 here, even during the warmest part of the day. So things froze up pretty solid. And we were putting siphons on and we were carrying water and we were doing all kinds of, it was a bunch of work. So stuff like this, like these Freeze Mizers, if that saves you some steps, saves you some work, I'm willing to invest a little bit of money in doing that. These things are about $30 a piece. I bought 3 of them. So you can kind of do the math there. But if they'll keep my water from freezing up and keep me from having to go out there and unhook it in the evening, hook it back up in the morning, after a couple days, it is done paid for itself. So anyway, I think Saunders fixing a little meatloaf, a little green beans, some mashed potatoes. Good home cooked supper after the day today. I'm definitely ready for it. So, like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your families. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.